G'day fellow creatures of the internet, this is the Master Musty and subscribe to Argonian here on YouTube, Bruzo Dragonius. I'm not sure if I ever made a video on this subject, even though that June is just a month on the calendar, you know, all of us know that kind of stuff. But as far as the furry fandom is concerned, and perhaps of all the other, at least centre-left or centre wing politics, at least, June is also known as Pride Month. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not quite sure if I made a video on this type of subject and all that kind of stuff, right? Especially as a cishet. And as you already know, the cishet is short for cisgender heterosexual. And I'm pretty much of a cishet male, right? And I'm also a center to center left wing cishet male. So in this video I'm going to talk to you about Pride Month on my own perspective as a cishet male. The reason why Pride Month is observed, you know, even as a topic of this year, is because it's for a lot of things. Whether it's to bring visibility to all of the branches of the LGBTQ spectrum. The reason that it matters, like, you know, with the LGBTQ plus community, is that, well, and it only matters for them, right, as that it is observed for all of us, whether you're a heterosexual, whether you're gay, whether you're transgender, whether you're cisgender, so on, right? This month of June is to show acceptance, to show solidarity with the LGBTQ community, even though that is LGBTQ plus, and so on. Usually in this month that you see various companies, and only in the left or the Western political hemisphere, that I should say, that you would see different companies have color changes to usually rainbow and all that kind of stuff. They usually to do that just for the 1 month to show their acceptance and support to the LGBTQ plus community. And eventually that they would end up coming back to their normal burning colors, you know, at the end of the like when June passes over. I mean, this is how companies are like, you know. There used to be this way of, you know, go woke or go broke. But nowadays, ever since that Budweiser has gone to woke for the conservatives out there, or the right wingers, that there's most companies that would end up facing boycott from the right-wing people or the right-wing politicians, you know, that kind of stuff. It's how their customer base would take it, and all that kind of stuff. I know that there's various companies that are like that with the rainbow, and like I said, there's even this one stage where even a rugby league team called the Manly Sea Eagles ended up having a thing called Pride Round, where they ended up wearing the rainbow jerseys, even though that there's a lot of players and all that kind of stuff that are so full on against it, probably due to religious reasons and all that kind of stuff, or culturally I should say. And you probably would ask, well, what's with the rainbow logos of companies that are like that in the 1 month and then change to the normal thing. I mean, what's with the rainbow? The rainbow, like I said in my past video on my message on Pride, is to show the LGBTQ community that it is a spectrum, you know, just like the colors of the rainbow. It's also a sign of acceptance, no matter what gender that you would want to be, you know, if any. No matter how much is your sexual preference, whether it's like, whether you're attracted to the opposite person or the same, I mean, the opposite sex or the same sex, or whether you're ace or whatever. It is to show acceptance of all things in life, of all steps of life. You know, that's what the LGBTQ plus community is. But why do we have 1 month to acknowledge and stand in solidarity with the LGBTQ plus community? You know? And why does the LGBTQ plus deserve to have a Pride Month, but not the straight people have the Pride Month? Well, let's put it this way. It is because that people do not weaponize religion to show their hatred towards straight people or people that preferably love the same gender. Being straight is not seen, and I quote, as a mental illness, end quote. Being straight isn't outlawed or punishable by death in some Middle Eastern countries. Being straight or cisgender isn't seen as a mental illness. And back to being straight isn't outlawed, that even though that here in Australia, right, and I pretty much would have just learnt this in the news, right, that really blows my mind, right? But there is a period right here in Australia where homosexuality was completely outlawed. Now you think about it, right? Homosexuality was outlawed until 1984 here in New South Wales. Back then, the politicians see marriage until I think 2 or 3 years ago, when Malcolm Turnbull was Prime Minister of Australia, that same-sex marriage was outlawed or even not recognisable, or at least outlawed, I should say. Coming back in time, people that are identified as gay, trans, and all that kind of stuff have been beaten up by the cops that were meant to protect them. But because that they are LGBTQ, because that they are gay, because that they are trans, even if they were to dress as the gender bend, they get treated like crap. They get bashed. And you know that Mardi Gras and other pride events around the world are originally seen as protests and all that kind of stuff. Actually, seen as protests. And this goes for every corner of the Western world, right? There are some states, there are some Western countries that were thinking about outlawing homosexuality again, seeing that it's a bit too woke, or transgenderism, because they would see things as grooming. You know, in history, there are some times that, even in the 80s, where even AIDS becoming a thing, people sort of thought that AIDS only affected the LGBTQ plus people, or the gays, I should say. And there are some times that even, well, there was no such thing as being identified as trans. Because back then, if you were trans, people would see you as crazy, as someone with a mental illness and all that kind of stuff. And it does suck. But that is the darkest thing. That is dark history for the entire world. And we now acknowledge, like, even in most corners of the Western world, same-sex marriage is fortunately legal. And I'm saying fortunately because I myself is an LGBTQ plus straight ally. Even though that there is not 1 month that there is a Pride Month for Cishets and all that kind of stuff, but as an ally myself, I wouldn't even care. I don't care about that. I'm very happy that there isn't a Cishet Pride Month. You know? Because, let's put it this way. That if you are a white cishet person, you don't need a month to stay, to have solidarity or whatever. What about the military and all that kind of stuff? I mean, there is a lot of military holidays as well. Depending on what country that you are. I mean, hell, here in Australia, we had 2. Anzac Day and Remembrance Day. Okay? And yeah, I do agree that the soldiers and all that kind of stuff needs to be commemorative or whatever. At the same time, cishet soldiers aren't that much oppressed as to what people within the LGBTQ plus community are. I know that I'm pretty much all over the place and all that kind of stuff, but as someone that's an ally, I really endorse this thing, right? I know that there's a lot of pride events and pride parades and all that kind of stuff, which I'm very happy, which I'm very supportive of, because the way I see things is that, well, trans men are real men, trans women are real women, cis men are real men, cis women are real women, and you can identify as yourself as what you see yourselves as, I know that the LGBTQ community is more of an umbrella, it's more of a spectrum of other spectrums underneath, right? There are even being asexual, even being transsexual, even being, or transgender I should say, even being LGBTQ plus. That's another spectrum within a spectrum. So anyway, and for that, I am really for Pride Month. I'm really supportive of Pride Month. Because we need to be proud of where we came from. You know, people need to be proud that they come from something that was once oppressed throughout history. Not being ashamed for themselves. People need to know that they matter. No matter what you're into, no matter what you are, or what you see yourselves as, and be accepted. And I know that recently that Chris Minns himself had made an apology out in Parliament to the LGBTQ plus community because for their oppression and all that kind of stuff. And I see that Chris Minns had thanked the LGBTQ plus for their arts, for, you know, making our lives better. You know, not just for us, but for themselves as well. And that is a really, really good thing. And I am very supportive of it because I'm very supportive. Because I myself have followed people on social media that are LGBTQ plus. Hell, one of my favourite YouTubers is Stormy Wolf, and she's just transitioned. And I'm not dead naming her, right? But like I said, I try to use the correct pronouns and that as well. I have friends myself that are part of the LGBTQ plus community because I'm a furry. And the thing about it is that for all my years in the furry fandom, especially as a cishet myself, there are a lot of LGBTQ plus communities within the furry fandom because let's face it, being furry is not part of the LGBTQ in itself. Same as being a drag performer. It's just a nerd fandom, cosplay, and hobby. But being a furry, the furry fandom is predominantly LGBTQ plus. You know. So I may be going all over the place. I may be ranting about it. So also you are welcome to comment what you think of LGBTQ plus. Of Pride Month. What are you planning on doing for Pride Month? Even I'm very curious. You know, do you want to add about this subject and all that kind of stuff? I don't write scripts for these videos, or hardly do. You know, would you like to add things about it? You know, some things that you know that I have missed. Also, if you do enjoy this video, make sure you press that like button. If you haven't already, and if you wanted to support me on my channel, make sure you smash the subscribe button. And if you have been subscribed to this channel, make sure that you also smash that bell icon so you will be the first one to know. The usual social media and all that kind of stuff is on the description down below. If you like this video so far, make sure you press that like button also. My gamer tag, if you want to friend me on PSN, or meet me in Elder Scrolls or wherever, is Bruzo 21. And as always, happy Pride Month. Whether, you know, love is love, whether you are trans, cis, or your sexual preference, if you have any, and that, just be aware that I love you all, regardless. And as always, happy Pride Month, and may His guide you all. Bye for now.